Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to sincerely thank all of my subscribers and viewers for your continued support, especially during these past few months. Today's video is going to be a bit different from my usual travel content, but I believe it's important to share with a broader audience. Many of you have noticed that I haven't been travelling internationally lately, and in this video I want to explain why and share something very personal with you. So it all started with what I thought was just a routine annual blood test. I wasn't expecting anything out of the ordinary, and honestly, I was focused on planning my next trip, or three. I was already looking at flights, and I was looking at different destinations, and I was hoping to be getting away a couple of times this summer. So, following the initial annual blood test, which I wasn't expecting anything out of the ordinary, which was just a test for liver and kidney function, the result was that my hemoglobin level had dropped to 102, and over the last 6 years, I'd had an average level of 170. So anything above 130 is considered normal, and anything below 130 is considered an issue. And now I have iron deficiency anemia. But why? My doctor's practice asked me to do a second blood test just to check for any anomalies or false negatives. The result came back a day later and had exactly the same conclusion. I was then asked to collect a fecal immunochemical test, also known as a fit pack, and this is a poker poo test. Yep, I said the word poop. That came back, but it took some time, and the results from that was positive. Although the blood tests were relatively quick, which discovered that I was iron deficient. I had iron deficiency anemia. The time after taking the FIT test, which is the fecal immunochemical test, which is basically a poker poo test. Yep, I said the word poop. Sorry. Um, that seemed to take about 8 to 10 days to get the results back for that. So those were quite hard those days because obviously you're trying to find out whether you've got blood in your stool, but you're not entirely sure. And obviously in my mind, I'm just thinking, what if this, what if that? At that point, I didn't know if it was treatable or not. Following the positive test result from the FIT test, my local general practitioner referred me for an endoscopy at the local hospital. And this was, I'd never done one of these before, so I didn't really know what to expect. But basically, I was put on an advanced 2-week cancer pathway. That doesn't mean that you've got cancer at that point, but it's a way to get fast-track treatment in the United Kingdom if you're suspected to have some kind of cancer due to a positive FIT test. And I then had to go to the local hospital and collect a box of a product called Moviprep, which, if anybody here has taken Movicol, which is to loosen you up if you get a bit blocked, Moviprep is about 100 times stronger, and it basically empties you from your mouth to your back end very, very quickly. You basically have to mix packet A and B and into a litre of water and drink that litre, followed by 500 mils of water. And then in the next hour, you have to mix pack A and pack B again and drink that next litre of it, followed by 500 mils of water. And I would say that, it's pretty grim, but you basically need a toilet very close by because it's coming out of you so rapidly within the first 500 mils that you drink. It's pretty grim. But you can't obviously have an endoscopy when your bowel is full. So that's what happens, and you then go. Then that week, I then had a telephone call with the endoscopy nurse, who basically gave me a bit of a brief on what will happen on the day of my endoscopy, and thought that was fine. Didn't think much of it, to be honest. Just tried to take it in my stride. That's what we got to do. I went to the hospital that day for the endoscopy, and the first one was the gastroscopy. It's done, but both procedures are done basically on the same bed. Fortunately, they use different cameras, and fortunately, they do the one down your mouth first rather than the one up your backside. But basically, the gastroscopy was, my personal opinion, possibly the most horrific thing I've ever had to do, because I was fully awake, and it's like swallowing a 2-foot long stainless steel camera. It wasn't very pleasant, but it's just something that has to be done. And then the colonoscopy, they turn the bed round 180 degrees, give you a bit of fentanyl and some gas and air, and stick the camera up the back end. The gastroscopy found that my stomach was clear. I didn't have any form of cancerous issues inside my stomach or my throat. But colonoscopy is the one that found a 3 centimetre malignant tumour in my colon. The colon, also known as the large intestine, and therefore suspected bowel cancer. The Moviprep is actually lemon flavoured, so it's actually palatable, and weirdly, I actually like the flavour after drinking 3 litres of it, but the consequences of drinking it, not so much. Following the finding of the malignant tumour in my colon, I then had to have biopsies taken, and I understand that the tumour was tattooed by the doctor at the time, so that it can be found again when they have to do surgery later down the line. Following on from that, I've had various appointments with anaesthetists. I then had to have a CT scan. The CT scan, at the point of the scan, found that the cancer hadn't actually spread, but there was 2 lymph nodes, one either side of the tumour, and further testing had to be done, called molecular testing, which is where they test the biopsies for finding out whether chemotherapy or radiotherapy is suitable for that type of cancer. I always find the best way to go through life is with a positive mental attitude. And I often say this to people, PMA, positive mental attitude. At the end of the day, there's nothing I can do and I'm in the doctor's hands. And I just need to focus on, keeping fit, being healthy as best I can. And obviously losing some weight, which is obviously contributory to health anyway. And even though this is the beginning of my journey, if you're going through something similar, know that you're not alone. There is strength in facing the unknown together, but you've just got to keep positive. If you enjoyed this video so far, I know it's completely different to my usual travel content, and I shall be compiling a new playlist to track my cancer journey, which is obviously in my playlists section. Consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and that will help me going forward. During my appointment with the anaesthetist for pre-surgery screening, it was suggested that I take part in a medically prescribed fitness class, which is run in my local town and was the first one in the whole of the United Kingdom to start this process. And now I'm obviously up for that. I'm up for doing any kind of exercise that doesn't bother me. And I'm in basically a group which I attend 4 days a week now, with other people who have either had cancer, have got cancer, are in remission. They may have already had surgery. I'm definitely the youngest person in the group. They're all at least twice my age. Maybe not all of them twice my age, in case any of them are watching. Some of them are maybe 20 years older than me, and some of them are a lot older than that. But they've all either had their surgery and they're in the remission stage. I believe I'm one of the few people that are in a pre-surgery stage. Due to me not being able to travel internationally at the moment, I will continue to edit and publish travel videos from my past trips to Japan, Philippines, and of course the UK, as and when I'm able to. Unfortunately, these are not going to be in a fixed, consistent manner due to various treatments ongoing at the moment. Alongside these, however, I will continue to document my cancer journey, and these videos will be on a dedicated playlist on my channel, where I hope they will resonate with and hopefully help other people who may be curious or in a similar situation to myself. If you'd like to leave a donation, there's a PayPal link on my channel page, or super sticker. I'd really appreciate you viewing my other playlists and videos or live streams. Also hit the like button, share widely, and subscribe.